that an auto start? Okay, YouTube started. Start and stop with OBS. Okay, that's set. Cancel. Yes. Settings. Excellent connection. Cool. That's all good. Let me go to Twitter real quick for 20 followers. Copy link. Yeah. Copy that. Post. Fostodon. Oh, I need to log in. Shoot. 1 second, everyone. Let me get the socials all figured out. New computer. Well, not new computer. Same computer. New operating system. All right. What is on my mind? That. Oh, I guess I could have tagged like game dev or something. Really bad at the social media stuff. Guess I can do a coffee page. Post. Not paid intro. I wanted to make post something. Quick update. That. Hashtag game dev. Post. Posting. Oh, actually, I probably could have just done it. Coffee or Ko-fi. So I think that can post on Twitter as well. Cool if I had Fostodon, because then I could just go there, you know. Let's see. I'm also using new plugins. So like I have. I'm supposed to have chat. I guess I can just try that out. Test again. That didn't happen. Welcome. Oh no, it did. There we go. It's just super delayed. That's fine. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that should show up. Camera focus. Hello. So yeah, let's start with some stuffs. Let's see what should we, other than I'm on a new operating system, what bookkeeping stuff do we have? Probably nothing. Starting a new project, doing Raylib and gonna see how that goes. I am obviously on Linux now, so that is exciting. I barely got all this working. So the dev stuff actually worked basically day one, right? Like I was able to compile the old breakout stuff like pretty quickly. Getting OBS to work was a massive pain in the ass, mostly because I'm stubborn. The biggest problem was that I wanted to get hardware encoding working, and for whatever reason it like would not work. It was mostly just me being dumb, because there's like a VA API, VAPI. It's like video audio encoding software or a library, and like I installed the library and like the utilities for it, but I did not install the what is it called? I did not install like the drivers for it. So there was like drivers for the Mesa drivers or Mesa drivers, however you pronounce that, for AMD, and I didn't have those installed, so nothing was working. Like VA info didn't work. OBS was just like I couldn't figure it out. So I finally got that all working, and then the next problem was that OBS. I'm on Arc, by the way, or Arch Linux, by the way. And if you get OBS from Pacman, it didn't install it with the web browser plugin. So like if you have notifications, or like I have the Ko-Fi coffee thing, and then over there I have the Stringles, or the Owncast server stuff. I should change that because I'm not streaming to Owncast right now, which is kind of ironic because I'm on Linux and Owncast is like a self-hosted FOSS software, which kind of unfortunate, but I don't think that is producing the best experience for people. So I'll come back to that later. What was I saying? Yeah, so like the default OBS from the Pack Manager didn't build with the web browser plugin for OBS. So yeah, like I said, like the chat above me, and then I have alerts. I think it's in the center of the screen, and then like that coffee and this, the subscriber goal, or the donation goal. All of that is through like web plugins, so that it can be updated when their servers detect something and blah blah blah. But yeah, like that just wasn't built, so I ended up having to use Yay, which is my ARU package manager, and that ended up downloading the correct Git files and everything to like rebuild OBS. Literally did that literally got all that working like half an hour ago, and then I like set everything up, and then got a thumbnail and everything, and for YouTube because it needs that. But yeah, it was pretty wild, pretty crazy experience. Didn't care for it at all. But yeah, like I said, there was a couple other little things. On the whole, I think most of my problems was that I wanted to get the AMF encoding to work with OBS, and so that led me to install AMD's Pro drivers. And so some games would use Pro drivers, and it would like lock up my system or just straight up crash the system, and I'd have to like force restart it. Before I did that, and I didn't play games too often, so this isn't too scientific, or I didn't play games immediately. Like I checked to make sure that stuff worked, but I didn't like sit down and like try to play games. And I sat down and tried to play games like after I installed the AMD Pro drivers. So it might be that the system's unstable, it might not be. But yeah, I think if I wasn't streaming, most of my problems wouldn't have been problems. Like if I wasn't streaming, then I think I wouldn't have spent like 2 days trying to figure out how to get hardware encoding working. I wouldn't have cared about that because I'm not using it. And I think everything would have been probably fine. Oh, except for one caveat I forgot. The stupid fans that I'm using, they're super nice and sexy. They're expensive, but they connect to a freaking hub. They're the Leon Lee L Connect like fans. I think I have the SL version of fans, and so usually in Windows I have fan control. Yeah, I think it's this guy. Yeah, so I use this, right, and it's really nice, but this is all written in .NET, and I don't know how compatible it would be with Linux, even if I'm would be running it in Wine. I don't know if it would work with any of Linux's stuff. I don't know. I assume it's not going to, because I assume the HID interface is completely different, and how .NET interacts with that is just going to be completely different. Anyway, I found something that can set the fan speed, but it doesn't like do a curve or anything. So this morning I spent, instead of messing with OBS, which is what I should have been doing, I made a UI interface, or non-UI curve editor, I guess. Not a curve editor, but it basically just pulls the sensors, and sensors can output to JSON, right? And so I basically made something that like just naively kind of parsed this and was just like, oh, give me this temperature and this temperature, and then I found the averages between them, and then I had points that were just mapped out between, it was an X and a Y, and it was just the X is the temperature and the Y is the fan duty cycle. And I basically just recreated a very primitive, only works with my system thing, and so that's running right now. I can, let's see, control system CTL, yeah, status. Probably, I don't know if I should do this live, but yeah, so this is the last update, and this was, yeah, a couple seconds ago. So it updates every 2 seconds. And so I think that this was cool. It's not tweaked perfectly, but it'll at least ramp up, and it sounds like it works correctly. But anyway, I took this guy's stuff. So the Unisync basically just loads at launch of on system boot. This is what it doesn't run. So the service would just run once and load a configuration file, and then just set the fan duty cycle and if you want RGB or not. So I modified it. I kept that functionality in, but then I also modified it to do this server stuff where it would parse sensors JSON data, and then it would get the average CPU temperature, and it would get the junction, and oh, it's not showing the edge. It would get the edge temperature for the GPU and the junction temperature for the GPU, and then it would put the average CPU temperature between the two CCXs into the CPU fan curve, which is just an array of vector 2s, and then that would come up with it would find the segment that it was in between for the temperature, and then it would interpolate between the fan duty cycle of the lower end and the fan duty cycle of the higher end, and that's what it would output. So it's just a list of fan duty cycles ranging from on the X 0 degrees, and then however many nodes you want. I didn't intend to talk about this, sorry. I'm just kind of like talking about my experiences with Linux before we kind of get into this, waiting for people to join. I guess I don't have a view count anywhere, so I don't know how many people are watching. But anyway, so it would do that with the CPU, and then we would do the junction temperature, which is the hotspot, and then we do the same thing with the hotspot and figure out its curve, and then we do the same with the edge. You can't see the edge, but the edge temperature is just like the GPU core temperature. Well, not core, but like the outer perimeter of the CPU, or the GPU rather. And then we'd find the average fan duty cycle between the two, and then we would add the two fan duty cycles between with each other. This is very similar to, this is actually almost exactly what I have on my Windows setup with the fan control. The only thing is I don't have heuristics or anything, so it'll just naively every 2 seconds it'll just evaluate everything, and it'll just set the temperature. So it's prone to spikes. So if you spike up, like if you open up Firefox and for whatever reason your CPU jumps up to 70 degrees Celsius for more than 2 or 3 seconds, like more than 2 seconds, then it's gonna spike your temperature for 2 seconds, and then or spike your fan speed curve for 2 seconds, and then it'll reevaluate, and then it'll come back down. That kind of sucks, but I mean, it's better than just having it be static. And you might be thinking like, oh, like Twig, you're kind of a dumbass, like why aren't you using LM sensors? You can do that with LM sensors. Yeah, I could, but Leon Lee didn't put their L connector stuff on Linux, so like I can't really interface with it. So that's the crux of the problem. That's why I found this Uniseek source. Actually, I should probably shout out that whoever did it. Again, I didn't really intend on talking about this. I just kind of rambled into this. But yeah, so these people, Cameron and Ellie, it's all done in Rust, so I kind of had to do, I've used like Rust in tutorials, but I haven't used Rust in an actual sense. But yeah, it just looks at this config, and then it just sets the stuff, and then it will, and then it quits, right? And that's kind of that, but I wanted something that like monitored the temperatures and then like set the speed based on the temperature. So if I play a game and then the junction gets up to like the 110 that it gets to, and edge gets to like whatever it is that it gets to, then I want the fan speeds to kind of accommodate correctly, right? I want the fan speeds to like ramp up and actually start cooling my machine. And yeah, so if LM sensors and the Neon like work together, and all of this, the LM sensor detect or LM detect or whatever that command is, if it could actually detect the fans, then I think this would be a lot easier to do. It wouldn't be that big of a problem. But it was fun kind of playing around with Rust a little bit. It's very verbose. Shit, I guess we'll just talk about that. Again, didn't intend to do that. So yeah, what I did is I made all of these, which kind of sucks. I know it's not reproducible or anything. It only works on my specific system, or if someone has the exact same hardware as me, where you have the fans and then you have a AMD, I guess any AMD CPU would work, and then if you have, I guess whatever that is. So I have a 7800 XTX. I don't know if that's going to be the same. That's going to be different numbers or whatever is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, very hard coded right now, and then you just have the vector, and then I just have a lerp that lerps between. So this is the temperature that I give it, because the x coordinates are in temperature, and then I kind of figure out the time, which is the interpolation factor between the two, and then I use the tried and true interpolation. And this is the curve, so it just starts at 0, temperature 0, 0 fan duty, and then goes up to 40 temperature, and then 20% fan duty, and then 50% temperature. So both the CPU and the GPU, both edge and junction, hotspot temperature, junction temperature, both hover around 50 degrees Celsius when idle. Like if I'm just have Firefox open, not really doing anything, I believe like the two CCXs are like 47, 46 degrees Celsius. I think junction temperature is like 52, 53, and then edge is like 48 or 49. So basically, yeah, I needed to like tweak these, maybe make it back here, maybe make this like 50 at 20%, because remember it's this top one is the CPU. Oh, I don't want that. Can I do VV? Oh no. This top one is CPU, right? And then so we calculate that, and then we calculate the hotspot and the GPU, and then we average those two fan duties, and then we take the average fan duty of the GPU, and then we add that with the CPU. So effectively average these two numbers and then adds it with this number. So if we were at 40 degrees on all of them consistently, then that would be 20% fan duty, and then the average is 20%. So we would add those together to be 40% fan duty, which is probably fine for idle. But I probably want the temperature here to be 50, and then figure out how I want to ramp up, how quickly I want to ramp up, and how I want to ramp up. And then at the end here, I just added, if we're at 120, then we need to be at full fan speed, because things are melting and my computer's probably going to break, which has happened once. Yeah, what I did is I made fan loop, and then I made load from config, which this is the old stuff in main, and then from main I added a server or an S switch, and then should loop true, and then we go down here to fan loop, and then while fan we just get the sensor data like I showed in the logs, and we get the JSON, and then we edge, or we edge we parse all of the JSON data with our various specific sensors that we want to do. This is all the interpolation code for the CPU fan curve, and then we come down here and we do the hotspot. So this is getting the hotspot temperature, and then we're setting the fan, and then this is just in case, like if something goes wrong and we didn't specify something correctly, and we can't figure out what we should interpolate. I just want to be like 50%. Like if we can't figure something out, then I just want there to be fan speed, and I don't want to go to 0 and just have it be at like the 250 RPM. So yeah, we do the hotspot, we get the hotspot curve, we get the GPU temperature, we found the GPU fan curve, and then we do the average between the hotspot and the GPU, and then we print that average. I should get rid of all of these print statements. And then yeah, we have the fan speed, which is the CPU curve, and the GPU duty cycles, then we clamp it, which I think this does anyway, so not a big deal. And then I added this to the guy's code because he just had run, which takes in the config and then writes back to the config. All right, am I better? Not too much. All right, that's fine. I don't know why I'm getting raspy. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, I cannot bless you with my normal voice. But yeah, essentially what I did is I gutted all the config stuff out of this, made two different functions. One that was the run completely as it is, and another one with the update fan, which gutted all the config stuff. And then I just grabbed the HIDs we care about, because there could be more HIDs connected to this computer. We just want the fans. So he has the vendor list, which is Leon Lee, and the product IDs, which is all the fans for this controller. This all looks very good, and then he does some other finding stuff, and then we just find the device. This didn't happen, but yeah, he in the config he's setting the RGB stuff. I didn't set that. I didn't know if you needed to set that, so I was like, oh, I might brick my fans because I don't know how this works. And then yeah, we just iterate through all the channels. The channels are always going to be 4, because if you don't give enough channels, then you just go through and push the default channels, right? Then you go through 4, and then so I never use PWM. I just set the manual mode, which is this, and so I basically just got rid of all of this, and all I'm using is this. I still iterate through the 4 channels, which is this. And then yeah, I sent in the fan speed. So we set the speed to fan speed, and then they also clamp it, which is nice. I guess I don't have to clamp it, but I do for safety and to print it out just to make sure. And I believe I'm this, because I know the lowest that they can go is 250, and I've seen it basically stops getting higher at 2000, but I believe that means I have the SLV2 or the ALV2, I guess. I don't know which one I have. I'm pretty sure it's the SLV2. Doesn't matter though. But yeah, then we do this HID write, which I have like literally no idea what this is. I know that it's like writing bits to a particular location somewhere, but yeah, like this, I don't know. I assume this is like, hey, fan speed, hey, this is the channel. I don't know what this is for, and then this is the actual fan speed. So seeing this is like set the fan speed or the fan duty cycle to this particular channel and set the fan speed to this. So this is like an opcode, I assume, because it changed up here. Oh no, it didn't. Oh wait, no, I'm in the same thing. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. This is sync RGB. Okay, well then I have no idea. I have literally no clue. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I don't know what this is, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I spent basically this morning, a little bit of last night and this morning making this. What time is it? Okay, well, we got thoroughly distracted. So far my thoughts on Linux is it crashes a lot more and it has locked up a lot more, and I don't know if that was due to me trying to get encoding to work on OBS and installing the AMD Pro drivers, or if that's because it's just kind of less stable and I'm trying to like run games with like Wine and Proton Experimental, which I was thinking the other day. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be using Experimental. Maybe I should be setting all my games to the latest version. But yeah, anyway, let's try and do a stream. I do like Linux. I do like that there's an alternative, but this go around, it's been a little more of a headache, just because the OBS and the fan issue. Other than that, I think everything would have been fine. I'll keep you posted, probably not tomorrow, but like next week I'll use it. I'll use Linux full time this week. I think I can do that. All right. Oh yeah, I have a Ko-Fi. If anyone wants to donate, if you like my content, there's the plug. Now, let's get into what the new project is, now that I'm thoroughly distracted. Oh, I have a viewer, cool. Actually, oh shoot, let me see. I forgot to check that. I've been rambling for 20 minutes. I need to check if the stream even looks good. It looks good from what I can tell. TV. What is this? Twig White? Or is it Crosby? Let's mute. Okay, yeah, it looks good. Oh, I don't have any. Oh, hold on, let me just load breakout. Oh, I did get breakout compiling, so we have that. Bin breakout. Oh, that's a bug. Oh, no, that's a big bug. I'm so sorry, everyone. Of course. And I didn't get a chance to look at it. We'll just do that. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm so sorry, everyone. Channel. Currently live. Okay, yeah. Yeah, alright. Sorry, I should have checked that way long ago. See, I was messing around with the freaking fan curves last night and this morning, and I intended to get OBS all set up and do a little test stream real quick just to make sure that Linux is capable of encoding, or the new Linux hardware and encoders that I'm using are capable of encoding everything, and everything looks good. And yeah, I think everything is fine. Everything looks nice. So sorry about that. I know we're starting a little late, but let's actually talk about this Endless RPG. So I've had this idea for a little while. I don't know, maybe a couple of years, maybe a few years. I've been thinking about it recently. Where I don't have Milton. Oh no, what am I going to use to draw? Is it for Linux? No. No. Will it work? Okay, well, I guess I'll just use GIMP. I probably don't need anything to draw right now. I'll solve that problem when I need to draw. But yeah, so I've had this idea for a while. The thing that sparked this endless RPG is that you have these endless runners like Subway Surfer and Temple Run and Jetpack Joyride, right? And I was like, oh, what if I take that concept where you're just constantly fighting enemies like in like an RPG, right? And so you just go until you die, and there's various things that happen between your run.